Today, gonna talk about something that you have personally affected by it.
Yeah.
And these days, you can say every one out of four people are actually especially
Suffering with
West,
this. Yeah.
suffering from this thing.
Yeah.
So we gotta-
Is it a West problem then?
I think it's more like a West problem.
Yeah.
And now it is actually very with the development of technology, with all these new gadgets.
Yeah.
It's now becoming problem enough all over the world. I mean, people in we can say I know I didn't even know about what ADHD was when I was in Pakistan. I didn't even know that
It doesn't exist there, yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's no information, there's no education about that.
Mm.
But when I came here, then I realized that okay, these are the symptoms. Then I realized okay, almost every second, third person will actually
Diagnosed with this. Yeah.
diagnosed with it. So yeah, it is something.
It's an interesting one. It really is. Well, we're going to talk a lot today about it, but this is a conversation and a series of conversations that we're going to have that will be, we'll go into multiples because I've got some other interesting people that I'd like to have a chat with at some point to talk about this that are specialists in dealing with it. A friend of mine called Trushka, she deals with children on a day-to-day basis that are really, really struggling. So there's lots to be done, loads to talk about on this topic. So listen, hit me with your first question. And there's a fucking fly wandering around here. There's that fly again. Now that's the same fly that I saw yesterday on the last podcast. Now if you go on that one over there, he seems to be getting.
She just wanna be in the so that's all right. We are already famous.
Yeah.
We got one audience.
Yeah. One fly. Hold on. Talking about the fly, did you see the geezer in? Did you see the breakout in France by the little geezer called the Fly?
No.
Mate, listen to this. Right, so there's geezer's been nicked in France. He's on the way to prison, right? And as he goes through a turnstile, two of his mates come across the barrier, ram the van that he's in, and then get out with guns and literally start blasting up the motorway. France has gone mental. They killed two of the guards. They shot a third one, and they've pulled the geezer out. And he ain't even a major fella. So that's how, really, when you think about it, we're in trouble, because at the point that these lunatics start shooting and pulling geezers out of vans, broad daylight in the middle of France, that shows you that they've lost control of everything, because they should have fear. But these lot were just, looks like some jihadis, mate.
Okay.
No, probably. No. See, they were just like all thingy bobbed up and everything, but started killing everybody.
It might be some like Michael or something. David and Michael.
It might be, but the geezer's definitely a Muslim, and he definitely doesn't fancy going to prison. And
Did he have a proper brand?
we never saw his beard. Because they all had their masks and they had their balaclavas on. Do you know what I mean? So maybe I should imagine they are. There's a lot going on. But anyway, the Fly, mate, you're on the run. Proper mental way of doing it as well. I'll be honest with you, I don't condone that sort of thing, but Jesus Christ, you've got to have some fucking nuts, all of them lot, to go and just bust him out like that. And he ain't even a major bod. That's what they're saying on the telly. Like, this geezer ain't even a major, a big deal, man. So he's like a low level, and they're just dragging him out like that.
So just like that, here is the proof of ADHD, because
There's the proof of ADHD. He's asked me about one question here, and before I know where I am, right, that is actually the problem with ADHD. Now, we're going to go through and do this in a structured way, but through this video, you will see in real time an ADHD lunatic when you try to ask him a simple question like, what is the time? And he'll start telling you about how you cook a pizza. Right, go on. Your first question, which is got down here in bold.
Yeah. So the first question is, what is exactly is ADHD? Please just enlighten me about
ADHD.
Right.
Okay, so ADHD in this modern world that I've learnt after having multiple therapists and spending plenty of time and money on this, I think ADHD is, we've lost the ability to control the mind stream. I think that's what it is. I cannot and don't have the ability, unless I'm really concentrating and I've done some yoga and I've done some meditation, I find it very difficult to control my mind. So ADHD is inside my head. There is like the River Thames, right? and it's flowing. There's flowing water through the River Thames. And basically ADHD is that you have a massive river of information that runs through your mind stream all day long that you've got no control of. Some days it's a nice steady flow, like a nice river. Other days it's like a fucking wave. So ADHD is your alter ego, your second thought, however you turn it, that internal voice in your head that just doesn't stop. I knew that I was in trouble probably when I was about 6. My mum and dad, I tell you what happened. I was in school, like my dad couldn't read and write. He was illiterate, but the most clever person I tell you now, I can talk to anybody about anything. My dad would go in depth to every single. He knew about the economy, the atmosphere, electromagnetic field. He just knew any topic. He knew it intimately. He was just a fucking genius, my dad. But couldn't read and write. A builder, just a cool blimey geezer. Was always struggling himself with anger. So, and my mum was also had issues herself. You know what I mean? Was a manic depressive. So when you think about it, ADHD is passed down genetically. ADHD is also being fed to us. And what I mean by that is the jabs that you give your kids, it's in there. The food that we eat is in there. It's all part of what's in the food, what's in the water. You know what they're jabbing you and telling you this is for smallpox and it's for this and it's for that. Don't let anybody stick a needle in your arm unless you are absolutely dying and it's a life-saving something. But other than that, don't bother with anything. So ADHD is basically not being able to control your mind stream. Therefore you cannot really be in control most of the time of what you're thinking about. Because, for example, and I know you got in this in one of your questions, but I'll go into it now. I will get up to go and, let's say, do something on a car. And while I'm walking from where I am to the car, I'll start going off and painting a car or building something else. Or I'll go whilst a bit of wood and I'll start making that now. So I'm completely distracted. I am on my way to go and meet someone. I'm on my way to go and do something. And halfway there, I'm fucking distracted and I'm taking over it. And I think all of a sudden, this is more interesting. So ADHD people just go wherever, whatever interests them, which is very, very difficult. That's why you can't give us a job.
Most of the billionaires are actually have ADHD. People say that Elon Musk has ADHD. That's why he has so many different companies.
Well, look, when everybody goes, oh, how does Elon Musk do it? I think fucking it's a piece of piss, mate. It's absolutely, look, let me tell you something. Elon Musk doesn't have a choice. Yeah. Like me, I think about several projects simultaneously all day long in depth. But it's difficult to live with me because my kids say, Dad, are you there? Dad, are you there? My girlfriend has to say, are you in the room? Are you in the room? What are you thinking about? It's so difficult because we are kind of not present. I mean, I love my life. I love my family. But sometimes I have to keep reminding myself to stop and make sure that I speak to them or I'm in the room because I'm so caught up in millions. And that's what I say to, I'm always saying to my family, look, don't talk to me now. In the old days, there was this thing called the Generation Game, right? And basically, it was a Saturday night program where there was, like when you go into the supermarket and you put your shopping on there and it's got a conveyor belt and the move rather than the bird. This is the old days when you enter the shop and you would buy your groceries and there used to be a human sitting there, a little trolley dolly, and they used to do your shopping, right? That was in the days before we all went in, paid extra money for our shopping and served ourselves. Yeah. What is this world coming to, bruv? We ain't even getting served by people. They don't even give you a bag to put your shit in anymore. They want you to come in, serve yourself, pay extra, and bring your own bag. I just went up to Tesco's a minute ago. No, and I'm not laughing. I went up to Tesco's a minute ago. 4 tomatoes on a vine in a little Mickey Mouse box, £2.50. Now, I've never ever looked at the price of anything in my life because I don't understand it. But I had to stop and think, £2.50. Hold on, there's 5 of these things in there. That's 50 pence a tomato. They are now charging you 50p a single tomato in Tesco's. Hello, what's happened here? You're charging me 50p a tomato and you ain't even giving me a bag, and you want me to serve myself? Fucking tomato should be 5p.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's ADHD. You've asked me a question, and now I'm on tomatoes. Very difficult. Very
This is
difficult.
a practical example.
Yeah,
of
this is a
ADHD.
practical example. I can't pack a bag. Do you know what? Most of my life, I missed every bus, I used to have a girlfriend. Well, I had a few of them, do you know, once I took her on holiday and we missed 2 planes simultaneously in the same day, because I would just, there's that board, and I know the flights at whatever time, and I went, come, let's go and have a breakfast. Let's have a little look around the shops. And then she'd be going, well, hold on, Osh. And then we'd run miles and miles and miss the bus. And like twice, 2 or 3 times, it's a living joke. My sister, if I had to be somewhere like at 10 o'clock, she would say to me, Alex, or Oshi as she would call me, Oshi, you got to be there at 9. Everybody used to give me an extra. They started managing me. And for most of my life, I was managed by, I didn't realise I had a team of PAs at the age of 6, but I did. I had a whole network of people that were trying to get me into the right place and bits and pieces. Right, next question.
So, I mean, growing up, as you have mentioned that, so growing up, as you mentioned that you realized at the age of 6 that you have ADHD, but I mean, how did it affect your education, and how do you think that?
Oh, mental, right. So, I was a little kid, as everybody is, and you're going along, going to school, playing, doing leaves, looking at worms and all the rest of it. And I was having a great time until I realised that I come out of, what happened was I went to the first school, which I think it's called kindergarten or nursery. And then in nursery, everyone started reading books, and it was Jennifer Yellow Rat and Billy Blue Hat, right? And this is the books that I used to have to read. Roger Red Hat, Jennifer Yellow Rat and Billy Blue Hat. Well, I hated Jennifer Yellow Rat and Roger Red Hat because these are the Ladybird books, right? And they're the most basic. But let me tell you something, the whole class started reading these books and I couldn't. And that's when I started realising, hold on, there's something wrong here. There's like, not, at the age of 6, and so did my mum and dad. And I remember once I had a terrible time. I had such a bad time. I hate teachers. I hate school, and I hate teachers, loathe teachers. Now, I know you might be trying to do something nice, but let me tell you something. You drove me mad as a kid, proper made me depressed. The teachers used to make me stand up, go into the corner of the room, put my hands on my head and face the wall. And I'd done that from the age of 6 all the way up until one day my dad bought me a calculator watch, a Casio calculator watch, right? And I loved it. Little tiny thin watch, but had a calculator in it so I could add up. And I was in school one day, I was 6, right? It was 6 or 7. By this time though, I was 6 or 7, but I regularly used to strip my motorbike down in my mum's kitchen floor, which used to go mental, take the carburetor apart, take all of the magneto apart. This is at the age of 6 and 7. I could strip a 2-stroke motorbike and rebuild it in my mum's kitchen fucking floor right at the age of 6. But I could go into school and I couldn't read Jonathan and Yellow Rat and Billy fucking Blue Hat. Right, and then this Mr. Davis, remember, Mr. Davis, where are you now? Because I'll tell you where I am. But anyway, Mr. Davis then stood me up and said, yeah, what you got? What's that on your wrist there? And I said, it's my watch, sir. I can do calculations on it. And he embarrassed me. He said to me in front of the whole class, you think, because my dad had a few quid. So I had a few pairs of trainers, right? I lived in Hackney and was a bit rough and ragger in them days, mate. You think money, he was one of them lefty Guardian readers. You think money can buy you brains. You need to do harder. You need to, look, I can't actually read and write, but this geezer was forcing me to try and read and write. Anyway, so I went home and was crying. And my dad went to me when he come back home. My dad was a proper lunatic, big builder, burly man, used to run a lot of men and didn't fuck about. He had very little compassion. He was black and white, and that was it. Come home, he said, what's happened? His teacher said, did he? Right, come round in the morning. So he took me to school in the morning. He called the geezer out in the playground. He said, right, come here, you. Let me tell you something in front of the whole school. He went, I'm going to do you want me to embarrass you in front of this whole school? And the geezer was going, what? He said, let me just tell you, you fucking idiot. You told him that you can't buy brains. What do you think an accountant is? What do you think a solicitor is? What do you think a doctor is? You absolute stupid idiot. Do you know what I mean? What you're doing is you're telling kids who are illiterate, who have got a problem, you're forced, you know what I mean? That isn't the way to deal with things. So that was really the turning point. So you asked me, when did I realise I had a problem? We had a problem at 6. I was statemented at 6. ADHD weren't really a thing then, it was dyslexia. And it was obvious that I had a problem because everyone could read and write and I couldn't. And everybody just went like that at school, and I just slipped back and become more and more insular, more and more. If I didn't have such a brilliant family, and if I didn't have a dad that took me to a building site, give me a cordless drill and go over there and work with the men, I was able, at the age of 6, my dad took me to work, put me in a lorry, took me to work. I used to be a labourer at 6 for the chippy and for the bricklayer. You know, I only had a small wheelbarrow. I could only get one shovel of sand and cement in it. But mate, I was happy all day long with my desert boots on, going backwards and forwards, having a few quid. I was even 6, and everyone on the job used to smoke a roll-up. So, and I was like, oh, let's have one of them. So at the age of 6, they used to give me a roll-up, and I'd stick it behind me ear. I've got pictures of me still, 6 years of age, with a cordless drill and a fag behind me ear.
I'd love to have those pictures.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, yes. And that's what it was. I had the best dad in the world and the best mum in the world. They were working class people, but they wrapped me up and loved me and told me, you could do anything you want in this world, mate. The only thing that's going to stop you is you. And you know what? They're right. The only thing that stops any of us is ourselves. You know, but you do have to have some nature, and you do have to have some nurture in you, and you have to have a mum and dad that love you and value you, you know, and focus on you. And that's a difficult thing to do now, because let me tell you something, one of my biggest bugbears, you go in any restaurant, you just go out into this world, look at the parents interacting with their children. They're on their phones.
Yeah, exactly.
They're on their phones. I see them on the tube. The mum is sitting there and the kid is looking at her, and the mum is just engaged. And I look over and I think, what is it you lot are looking at? They're looking at bollocks. They're looking at absolute crap going, and they're streaming. Do you know what? Everybody, I've dealt with addiction all my life, like drugs, alcohol, depression, everything. I have never seen such danger in my entire life. And I am someone who, look, loved everything and loads of it. And I'm telling you something now, mate. The mobile phone is the biggest problem we've ever had, and it is going to unravel humanity if we're not careful.
True.
I thought years ago that the little American geezer who was a bit weird, what's his name, Steve Jobs?
Yeah, I love him.
Well, I'd like to get Steve Jobs back now and chop his head off. Yeah, believe me, I'd take him to Syria or wherever it is.
He was Syrian.
Yeah. Was he? Yeah, well, let me tell you something. That geezer
was Syrian immigrant.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, ain't it weird? You think that this person is brilliant. Actually, when you look back, dark, demonic. I mean, was it Elon Musk or was it other powers that be that funded him for that phone? Because that phone is just the unraveling of all of us. You know, now everybody's a superstar. You know, the world is full of opinions with people who've done nothing. And, you know, look, you know, and we're now trying to have a conversation, and someone's going to watch this on their phone. So on one hand, it's a brilliant technology, and it's moved us all forward. And the world is now starting to wake up, you know, because we've all been super controlled and super thick. 99% of these people in this planet are sheep. And they've got their head down and they're just meh. They just don't want to know what's going on. Lift your heads up, everybody. You are either going to be slaughtered in mass amounts if you don't wake up and find out what time it is.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally. So on that note, I mean, we then again a real practical example of ADHD. So
practical example of ADHD.
Yeah, okay. So ADHD is, as I said, that is most often, I mean, it's very misunderstood, especially in third world, in countries like Pakistan. I mean, we don't even know that we have ADHD, and most of the people have. So it's like very misunderstood. So can you share like some sort of like challenges where you, I mean,
The challenges of ADHD are, I think, probably some of the real difficult challenges. Personally, not understanding what's going on inside your head. So look at me. I, for years, self-medicated with all sorts of things. I didn't know I had ADHD until I had a breakdown in 2018 after losing my business. I thought I had an alcohol and a drug problem because, you know, I was always looking, well, I was just trying to cope with something that I didn't know I had. And I ended up going to a therapist, and after quite a bit of time, said to him, "Look, you know, well, I think I've got a drink and a drug problem. I don't know, you know, I can't control myself. I'm all over the place. I tried, you know, I nearly died a few times. Do you know what I mean? And I've got 3 kids, and I had a business, and I worked 7 days a week. I was a workaholic. I couldn't do any more. I couldn't put any more effort into anything, and yet it was all still unraveling. And I'll tell you what, for ADHD for me is, right, it's like waking up in the morning with a blank sheet of paper, and I would then write my to-do list out, and then 3 seconds later you forget it, you rewrite in your to-do list. So I can't come away. I said to the guy, "Look, I'm going mad. I list out everything I've got to do today, and then 3 seconds later I go back and I list it out again, and I'm just constantly looking at this to-do list, trying to manage myself. And I wake up every day with a blank piece of paper, and I've got a massive company, you know, and I've got loads of people who work for me, and I've got loads of things that I'm spinning, and I'm trying to manage them, but actually trying to manage myself." Now, after a while, he sat down and went through loads of bits and pieces, and he said, "Look, I don't think you're not a drug addict. And you're not this, you're having that, you've got ADHD. And I was like, "Mate, what are you talking about? I'm 45 years of age. Look, I can't read and write. Yeah, all right, but I ain't got ADHD. Do you know what I mean?" So when did I realise I had ADHD? I went to seek some help, went to a therapist. He then said to me, "No, look, you know, you are in trouble, but, you know, you've got ADHD, and I'm going to send you to a specialist." So I went to see a guy in Harley Street, and sat down with him, and it sort of explained to him, look, I said to him, "Look, this ain't really mad. If I take cocaine, right, apart from, you know, the first bit, which is makes you feel a bit like Superman, and then makes you think about women, and then after that, what would happen to me was I would then take this drug, and at the end of every working day, and then what would happen was my whole world would just calm down like that, and I could think clearly, and I could start to manage my different jobs, and I would then see like loads of like pigeonholes appear in front of me, and then that would be one project, that would be another project, and it would help me project manage. So I was using cocaine, which was a stimulant, to manage clearing my thoughts, because the cocaine would stop the river of information. It would stop it, and it would allow me to think. So I was using it at the end of every day. My staff would go, I'd have a bit of gear, and I would then do my emails, I would do my project planning, but then it would keep you up all night, and you wouldn't get to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and I was just so confused, thinking, "Oh, do you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm using this because it's the only way that I can think clearly." Now, when I went and told that to a therapist, he went, "Bang, stop there for a second. I've got to put you on." So then they started putting me on these mad tablets. Right, let me tell you something now. Everybody out there, I'm telling you now, do not get on the ADHD tablets. It is the last thing you want. If you really want to go backwards in life, lose your shit, and have to come out of the biggest, darkest, horriblest hole, then take ADHD tablets. But let me tell you something. All the people, I'm really got a problem with a few companies. One company, ADHD 360, left me high and dry. So what happened was, I went and when I saw this guy in Harley Street, he's given me a prescription. I took these tablets for a while. What it did is it did give me the clarity, right? The cocaine did. So it took me off the gear, and it gave me clarity. All of a sudden, I was engaging with my kids. I could think clearly. For a little while, I could get hold of myself. But what was quickly happening was I was taking these tablets in the morning. By 11 o'clock, mate, I was wanting to kill you. I was dragging people out of cars. I'm only 5 foot. I was so aggressive. It was amphetamine speed. I was speeding off of my nut by 11 o'clock in the morning. You couldn't talk to me. I couldn't hold a conversation with someone. If you would start talking to me, I'd just go, yeah, but I was skipping. I knew what you was going to say. You was boring the fuck out of me, and I was skipping to the end of it. So I couldn't talk to you. I couldn't talk to a customer. I couldn't talk to my staff because you began trying to talk to me, and I'd be, you think I'm fucking fast now, mate? I was fast, Eddie, on that, super quick. And it got to the point where I was suicidal. And I tried this tablet, I tried that tablet. Then you're mucking around with the dosage. Now, these people that sell you ADHD gear, they are nothing more than drug dealers. They put you on these tablets. They don't manage you properly. ADHD 360 left me high and dry. Around about a December time, they never sent me my other prescription, and I chased them. So they let me come out of prescription, which then put me into a really bad place. I then rang up the doctors and said, look, the private prescription people haven't come back. They're not engaging. I paid them the invoices. They were supposed to give you a review. Then reviews never happened. It's just a nonsense, mate. It's a complete nonsense. So then I tried to get hold of the GP, and then the GP was like, because you've been dealing with it privately, they don't even want to bother with you. They're sort of, they in the end, the doctor laughed at me, and I said, are you laughing at me? Down the phone. And he went, yeah, you need to manage your anger. I said, I'll tell you in a minute. I'll see you in a minute. I went down to the fucking doctors and smashed the doctors up. All be all come. Yeah, that's about that. Don't talk to me that way, mate. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me to manage my anger. I went and privately went and sorted myself out, dealt with the private people who fucked me over, then went back to try and work with the government that effectively set me up in the first place. They can't be bothered with you either. So all of a sudden you're in no man's land. So you've got somebody who is mad, who's a bit volatile. The private geezer's decided that he can't be bothered with him anymore. The doctor can't be bothered with him anymore. And what, you want to just leave me alone? People like us will turn the gaff upside down. And that's what I did. So, you get a lot of people going mad out of here because they don't know where else to go. You've got voices in your head that are constant. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got this little silly doctor, little geezer telling me to manage my anger. No, mate, I am on the phone to you because I'm trying to explain to you that I need the tablets. And then what the NHS do is you go on a decent tablet that's got some half-decent gear in it. And these fuckers, they'll go out and find a tablet that's only £1.50 and try and put you on that. So at one point, they mucked around with my medication. They sent me mad, and that affected my whole family. It was affecting the way I spoke to my kids, the way I was dealing with my missus indoors. It stopped me from being able to get up and get on with life. Do you know what I mean? So do yourself a favour. If you've got ADHD, give me a call. I'll help you out with it. Because you know what? I'm not having all of this. I'm not having all of these other people.
So do you think that was the point that actually ADHD destroyed your personal family life and your businesses?
Destroyed my life, my business, but I didn't know I had it. And a lot of people don't know they have it. And, you realise that you're struggling with this and you're struggling with that. I can't finish a task. I am the most creative person around. As I say, I just dream up business concepts. I see everything. You give me a problem, I'll tell you how you get out your problem, right? But I couldn't read a paragraph. I couldn't read a whole page of a letter. I couldn't read a news article because the first paragraph, words would go in and then the rest of it goes. And then I've got no interest. We've got a very short... If give me a problem, an ADHD person is the person you want when there's a nuclear explosion, when a bomb's gone off, when the shit's hit the fan, when it's all going mental, where everybody else is paralysed. We don't paralyse. We're already thinking 1,000 times ahead. We really love... in fact, I only really come alive when there's a fire. When there's a massive problem, I'll wake up and go, all right, I'll go over there and fix that. But if it's just bobbling along, there's no interest to me. We're not interested unless it's a real problem. And that's a major thing for ADHD people. They're bored of normal bits and pieces. So we don't manage our life. We don't bother looking. I don't open letters. Well, brown envelope, what do I know about that for? That's not interesting to me. So they'll pile up to the point where the bailiff's knocking on the door, and it ain't until the bailiff's knocking on the door that I'll take any notice of it and go, all right, mate, what do you want? Oh, well, I'm here about this, but what? Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult for us to live in this nomadic world where we don't look at the normal day to day, and if it's like mundane, it don't fucking register to us. Give us a problem, give us something interesting. Do you know what I mean? That's why Elon Musk is great, but he isn't God. He's just someone who's thinking about multiple things and got off with his arse and done it. I mean, an amazing person, but there's millions of him. And there's millions of us.
I think the difference between a billionaire with ADHD and a normal person with ADHD is because a billionaire got a huge team. Like, I mean, if he shares an idea, so that there's a huge...
Listen, if you've got £1 billion, every idea that... Look, I'm working on several projects at the moment. And the reason, actually, that I'm doing this, like now, I don't want to do podcasts. I don't really want to be doing all of this. But in order to drive the things that I need to drive forward, you know, I need to be doing things like this to get awareness out there. You know, I'm very, very interested in social housing. You know, when I lost everything, I ended up being homeless. You know, I'm very focused about building homes for homeless people. You know, people that were born in this country, that need housing in this country. I want to house you because, you know, I went from being a multi-millionaire on a Tuesday to absolutely nothing on a fucking Friday, and living in a bedsit with the carpet crawling, 2 crack dealers next door and 2 brasses in here, and I'm supposed in a nasty gaff in Wembley, and I'm supposed to be in there with my kids. So let me tell you, it ain't fun. Get hold of your ADHD, manage what's going on here, people. Don't rely on tablets because it ain't. Well, I will tell you how you get hold of yourself. And basically, people go into the gym, right? Look, the world is all driving themselves mad about gyms, protein shakes. A protein shake's just a load of worms in a fucking, you know what I mean? Do these people realise what they're doing? I want to teach you, not you personally, Z, but teach people with ADHD that you've got to start going into the gym, and it's called the mind gym. And there's processes that we need to do. You know, there's ways that you've got to start to understand and got to wake up and get control of your mind. And it's the voices inside your head. Now, I ain't being mad. People with ADHD, there are voices in our head. It's not just us. And in fact, the majority of people have got a thought stream going, but it's not at the level that ours is.
How did you manage to like keep going doing that? I mean, the worst time of your life.
I tell you, the worst time of my life was after I lost everything. I lost my business, and I was, you know, so depressed. I remember it was over COVID, and I remember standing outside, banging a saucepan on a saucepan about, you know, like the NHS and everything else, which these people, these frontline workers that were saving everybody, and were the best thing in the world, and everybody loved them until it was time to value them. And these people tried to give them a 1% pay increase. It's disgusting. You talk about you value these people. You don't value anything in this country. You know, I tell you what they value. If I go upstairs now, right, there'll be 4 geezers in Westminster uniforms pouncing on anybody that stops in their car and pulls up in the street. All these people with businesses up there, right, are desperately trying to keep it going, desperately trying to keep their life going. There's not a policeman in the street. There's not nothing yet. But you pull up your car outside, upstairs in the street, within 2 minutes, you've got 3 geezers, you know, all immigrants, yeah? All immigrants have been brought over. No, let's have it right, because an Englishman wouldn't do the job. All standing there trying to give you a ticket. And I say to him, nah, ain't it interesting? Not a policeman in the street. Weed being smoked all over the... So listen, you go up in the street and there's 4 geezers ready to give you a parking ticket, but not a single policeman to be seen. So they're there together and giving you revenue. Yeah. Where's the rest of our society? Where's the rest of everything? It's completely gone. It's completely gone. So what question did you ask me?
So my question was like, how did you like manage to keep
Right,
going?
that's right. Right, okay. So I tell you what happened to me. I after realizing how much trouble I was in with the ADHD tablets, I decided that I was going to go cold turkey. I woke up one day and spoke to my girlfriend, and over COVID, to be honest with you, everybody started taking too much drink, too much drugs, and everybody was losing it. And I was losing it as well, along with my girlfriend at the time. So I woke up one day and I said to her, right, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves squared up. She was drinking too much. She was an alcoholic. over COVID, and we were taking too much drugs. So I tell you what was happening. I was having a shower, and all of a sudden I had not a vision, but I had a funny turn. I was just downstairs, and all of a sudden, where the water was coming over me, it was like someone spoke to me. And I've been having a lot of conversations with somebody nowadays, so I've become very spiritual over the last however
in God now.
1,000%. 1,000%. Not only do I believe in God, I've experienced it. You know, I've been at such a low point in my life where I'm in the corner of a room and I just want to kill myself and trying to. And I asked a question. I said, what is this all about? You know, and I meant it from the depth of my fucking soul. Where am I? What has happened? What is the value of life? Money was my God. Money was my king. It was my complete structure. From the ages of 6, I was money mad all the way up until I was 45. And I'd made plenty of it. Do you know what I mean? And I'd experienced everything. I'd had helicopters. I'd had every single thing I wanted. I had it. Do you know what I mean? I had experienced everything. I've had the best life ever. And then I lost it all. But this is all part of the journey. And then I sat there and I said to myself, where am I? What's going on? And I had an experience, is all I can tell you, where something took me somewhere and sat me down and showed me what it was all about and what this life is about. And, you know, life is amazing. It's beautiful. And you come here to bring value to this planet, and you come here to bring value to other humans. And what we've done is because we've just been born into it, but somehow they've created this world all about work and money. Now, money doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's just an agreement. The water is free. The air is free. Electric should be free. All of these things should be free. You are born a free man, not just a man, a soul from God himself. Do you know what I mean? So we have come here, and this is a divine life. It's a beautiful thing to experience, can you imagine the chances of actually a planet forming that life can go on, and then for an actual human to be able to come out of it? Now, let's just say humans. Do you think a human has got any more value than a dog or a this or a that or something else? It's only a human that thinks he's got more value than the rest of nature. And it ain't that, you know what I mean? That's why we've got it twisted. That's why we're in so much trouble at the moment, because we're all bowing down and loving God, which is money. And it doesn't come with you, mate. It is a false sense of security. You need it to go into Tesco's to pay £2.50 for 4 tomatoes. Look, what are we doing here, everybody? Get ourselves together. Let's just go and do Tesco's.
Back home in Pakistan, especially among Muslim world, people say that when you are like flying very high, when you are like, I mean, you have all the facilities of life. So sometimes, I mean, during your middle age, then God
takes it from you.
Yeah, and then makes you realize that, okay, there is some other power, because then, I mean, being a human being, we realize that we are the most powerful people and there is no God on earth. And then at least someone comes to make you realize.
I think this is the first bit of your life, right, is you are full of energy and there's a man you want to go and you want to do this, you want to do that. The first bit of your life, up to about 2025, it's all about you. The universe gives you a wave to ride if you're lucky. Everybody comes to this planet, right, with some magic tool. I know this all sounds like you've heard it on the internet before, and believe me, I listen to it, I just think, oh, Jesus, I can't believe I'm standing there. I sounded like a right idiot here. But the truth of it is, I've got skills, you've got skills, and every other human's got skills. Man, woman, there's only men and women. Man, women.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only men and women, and they've all got skills, right? Whether you can sing, whether you can dance, whether you can cook, whether you can listen, whatever it is. But in schools, they don't allow us. They don't find our magic powers in schools. They sit you down and they want to teach you about history and about all this crap that you don't need. They don't teach you about how to have a relationship, how to manage money, how to go to an interview, how to look somebody in the eye, how to manage your addiction on your phone. Do you know what I mean? Schools, unfortunately, we're going off topic now, but schools, right, are full of people that have never done anything. They're full of kids that have gone to school, then gone to college, and then gone back into school to teach other kids. You know nothing. And I don't mean this, please, teachers, I know your heart is in the right place, but it's very difficult because you're industry led and basically you're just regurgitating what someone else has told you. Go out and get some.
Let's come back to topic.
Let's come back to the which one?
So, okay, so as you mentioned about all the spirituality and stuff, so that was one of your like strategy to fight against ADHD. What sort of strategies would you like to share with people who are in that fighting stage against ADHD to like
Right. Okay. Well, look.
have a normal, stable life, family life and business life as well?
Right, you can get a normal life with ADHD. First of all, once you understand you've got it, there are a few really great YouTube videos out there, like TED Talks and stuff like that. Because I think one of the things that you should understand is, what does an ADHD person do? An ADHD person is still recording. An ADHD person, they can't finish a project. They can't finish it. Like, I've got millions of things. I will create the most complex thing that people could not get together. I'll get it to the end, and then it's boring for me because I've done the hard bit, right? So ADHD people love a project but never finish it. They'll be on their way to Tesco's to buy 4 tomatoes at £99, and then they'll decide to go to the park, or they'll go here or they'll go there. So, it's very difficult to give anybody a job who's got ADHD unless you're giving them a creative job. So if you've got ADHD, you need to know you've got it. You need to research what it is, mums and dads. You need to research what goes on with your kids. Let's, number one with ADHD, cut out all the sugar. Cut out the fizzy drinks. Cut out the food that's got all of the chemicals in it. Start feeding your kid vegetables, right? I know it's hard, but you're going to have to actually go down the shops, buy these vegetables and cook them in the real world. Stop buying things that come out of a cardboard box. Stop going down to these shops and buying carcinogenic crap. Don't stop giving them drinks with saccharin and all of this other crap in it. First thing to do, strip out the diet, get rid of all the toxins out of you. Yeah. Second thing you then need to do is you start sitting down and you're doing little things like, if they can read, you got to sit down and do a bit of reading with them. ADHD is, we have lost the ability to be able to control our own mindset. Okay. I don't take any drugs. I don't take any chemicals. I don't do any nonsense, but I wake up in the morning. I say a prayer. I get my head together. I get control of my... Listen, there's 2 people in my head. There's about 4 or 5. There's one very, very loud voice, right? You got to get control of him straight away in the morning. The first thing you got to do is slow this fucker down and get control of him, right? And the minute you put him in a box, then you've got control of yourself. If you wake up and let someone else run your narrative, you ain't never going to fucking get... You ain't you. You're being run internally from another program.
So what actually motivated you to to rebuild your life after losing everything?
What motivated me to rebuild my life after losing everything? I opened the fridge and there was nothing in it. My children have also got learning difficulties. Yeah. I've got 3 children, all girls, all of them showing signs of issues. The middle one is as bad as I am, and we're having to do specialist schools and all the rest of it. So you haven't got a choice. This is a beautiful life and it is a gift. So let's get a control of our mind. Let's get control of our... years ago, we would have been called eccentrics or interesting or lunatics. Now we're all walking around with a badge. It's irrelevant that we've got this badge. Understand you've got this product. You've got this understand you've got this issue, but it isn't negative. It's a positive thing. Look at me, mate. I run circles around most people, so I'm not stupid. It's a power. It's God has given me this brilliant a talent. So I just need to learn how to control it. So control your mind strength. Get doing some mind strengthening techniques. Get rid of all of the sugar. Get rid of the crap. Get yourself back up on back together. Send me a message if you've got ADHD. If your kid's struggling with ADHD, whatever problems you've got, send me a message and I'll help you.
Disturb you here. My question was, what motivated you to like? Okay, so my question was actually, what motivated you to
start again?
Rebuild your life.
Yeah. What motivated me to start again was, well, you have to put food in the fridge. you have to clothe your children, and you have to at some point get up and start again. Now, if you're on medication, the medication is designed to keep you dumb and stupid. So the first thing you do, you get rid of all of this rubbish and you get yourself a plan to get back into life. And that means engaging with your friends, engaging with your family, looking at your kids. Just get yourself a plan on starting again. If you are in business, the first thing you need to do is restructure what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you deal with your team. Get yourself your to-do list sorted every morning and just run through it. Start to get some structure around your life. Go out, watch a load of YouTube videos on the TED Talks, people who have studied ADHD, understand what's happening in the brain. Get yourself a bit of a plan on how each person's different, right? Do you know what I mean? Some people might not be as severe as I am. On a level of like 0 to 10, I'm 11. But a lot of people might not be there. They might be like 5 or 6, so they might not need as much work as I do. But the truth of it is, every day the sun's going to come up. You've got to get on with life. You've got to deal with life. Once you realise that if you realise you had a broken leg, you'd start to fix your leg. You wouldn't carry on walking around with a broken leg. Once you've identified that you've got ADHD, then you need to take some steps to do it. Stop going, the world owes me something. No, you are who you are. You was born the way you was born. Manage your stuff. Manage your life.
So how has your approach changed towards managing business after you started controlling your ADHD?
Listen, I am night and day now with business. Before, in my old life, I was running around 1,000 miles an hour. I didn't look at the detail. I trusted people. I trusted people in my business to do the numbers. I trusted my PAs to open the mail because I couldn't. I trusted everybody to do everything. Staff tell you that it's done. Everyone, yeah, I've done that. Don't believe anybody anymore. If you've got a business, don't believe these fuckers. You need to see it. You need to actually look at a spreadsheet. Now, a spreadsheet don't mean it's just a load of bumble numbers to me, mate. But let me tell you something. You've got to stop and look at that stuff. But you can't while you're medicating on cocaine, while you're medicating on alcohol, while you're in the gym 99 hours a day, while whatever it is you're doing, you know what I mean? Whether you're one of these lunatics dressed up in Lycra riding around on a bicycle all the time, do you know what I mean? Whatever it is you're doing to try and escape or get away from it, you need to first of all manage yourself and then deal with your team in a different way. I get I've got a to-do list now. I work out, I don't move. I manage my day. I always had a to-do list, but now I know that I don't go back to it every 30 seconds. I write it out in the morning, I prioritise it in the morning, and then I go through it. And I just tick off each individual, and whatever I haven't done today, I take that down on my iPhone and I copy paste that to tomorrow, and I just keep going and I just keep going. I used to have a massive PA. I had 2 or 3 PAs. I had a massive team of people around me. And I've managed to do a lot of that now myself, and but now I'm 50. So chemically your brain changes as you go from 20 to 30 to these ages. So I'm aging like a good wine or a port or something like that.
What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs and other people who are running their businesses but have ADHD? What sort of advice?
You're lucky if you've got ADHD. You might think, look, whether or not we were born with it, whether or not the universe gives it to us for a reason, or whether or not we get it because we're thick or we had a jab or whatever it is, you've got it and you got to use it to your advantage, because when you are in your flow, you can run, if you're anything like me, 4 or 5 projects in your head. Ultimately, if I have a conversation with you, I don't forget anything. I don't need to write nothing down. Do you know what I mean? I'll remember what I've said to somebody, if we're having a deal, I'll go, no, you owe me that amount of money. And this is the conversation, and this is where you were, and that was where you were standing. So we are super powered people, right? What you need to do is just understand what framework you need around you to help you manage your ADHD. And if you've got a business, that's generally a PA or some good people around you. If not, and you're just on your own and you're starting again, as I say, get back into getting on YouTube, finding out what is ADHD, what are the positive sides and what are the negative sides. Write them up, put them on your whiteboard, and just remember, I'm going to struggle with concentration. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So when you're in a meeting or you're dealing with somebody, you know your strengths and your weaknesses. Do you know what I mean? If you're having a conversation like we are here, try and you can read and write. I can't. I mean, if I tried to show you what I've written here, I can't read it myself. It's like hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? So it's just like mental. So manage yourself, understand your powers, and if you've got ADHD, you've got something that no one else has got. Because let me tell you something. I can't read and write. But there are billions. I don't know how many people are on this planet, but they can all read and write. And half of them can't do anything like I can. So it ain't a big problem, is it? Nothing. Listen, in this world, don't walk around with a chip on your shoulder like life owes you something. Don't walk around like, I've got this, I can't do that. Anybody that uses this as an excuse, you ain't an entrepreneur. You ain't got enough go. ADHD people are normally 1,000 miles an hour. And let me tell you something. If you've got ADHD, ring me up. I'll give you a job.
What are your goals for the future, both personally and professionally?
What are my goals for the future? I tell you what's happening to me now in life. Now that I've realised where I am and I understand how to deal with these, I don't know what ADHD is. Is it an illness? Is it a condition? Is it a superpower? Whatever it is. Now that I know that I've got it, one of the things that I'm really focused on doing now is setting up apprenticeship schemes, because there's loads of young kids like me, from all walks of life, from every, part of London and this country, who are trying to deal with this. I am setting up apprenticeship schemes where I will be teaching kids like me, boys and girls, how to be plumbers, how to be electricians, how to work on electric cars. I want to take men and women out of prison. And look, if you've been stealing cars, or you've been selling drugs, or you've been robbing security corps vans, or whatever it is you've been doing because you think there was really nowhere else for you to go, there is, you know what I mean? We've all got two hands, and you can't be a drug dealer all your life, and you can't be a gangster all your life, or whatever it is you want to be because you've seen Snoop Dogg doing it on telly and it all looks cool. It ain't, right? Do you know what I mean? This world is, what's happening now is they're changing up this world. Yeah. We are marching into complete control if you're not careful. Yeah. So you ain't all, let me tell you something, all you ballers and all the rest of it, you ain't going to be able to shut your gear anymore and do all of that like that, because you're shutting you down. So you need to learn to go out, use your hands and get a living. And I want to teach people how to run a business, how to, there's loads of normal jobs for us. We need to go out and start it again. So I'm all about getting kids sorted, educating people about ADHD. I'm interested in homeless people. I'm setting up a homeless charity. So they're my goals. I've got quite a few goals.
Any final words before we?
Any final words before we go? The world is really in trouble at the moment. You cannot find any help if you've got a child with ADHD, because the NHS is under pressure. There's no resources for it. We're now diagnosing people more than ever, but we've got a problem. There is a deluge, a tsunami of people who have got learning difficulties, whether it's autism, ADHD, whatever, all part of the spectrum. Now, mums and dads and adults, we've got to learn to manage this ourselves. What we don't want to be doing is engaging with people, these ADHD 360 type of people and all the rest of it, who are really only just trying to sell you a tablet. A tablet is not going to be the answer to ADHD. The answer to ADHD is strengthening your mind, getting in the gym and working on your mind. Very difficult to do when you've got a small child. So when you've got a small child, don't feed it sugar, don't feed it cancer, Don't give it all of this rubbish. Don't let it bounce off the wall. Take your iPhone off. But then mums and dads, that means that you've got to engage with the kid. You can't just leave it there in the pram and leave it there and carry on with your TikTok stuff yourself. So a lot of the problems that the kids have got, unfortunately, it's the parents. Do you know what I mean? The parents have got to step it up when it comes to the kids, and the adults have got to step it up themselves and start to manage their own stuff. Now, if you're really lost and need a bit of help, I am no expert. But let me tell you something, I've lived with it for 50 years. I've gone to the point where, I wanted to kill myself. I know I've been in some really dark places with it. I've tried the therapy. I've tried the tablets. I've tried it all. And let me tell you something. Actually, I'm just going to finish like this. One of the people that saved my life, in fact, YouTube saved my life, to be really honest with you. And I don't know how you pronounce the geezer's name, Wim Hof, something like that. The nutty geezer. I watched a program one day when he said, if you feel like you want to kill yourself, and that's how I felt most suicidal most days, there was this ice bath thing, right? And then everyone was doing this ice bath challenge and everything else. And I felt, I couldn't get out of bed. And I'd been in bed for about 2 weeks, just, to the point where I hadn't had a wash for a week or whatever. I was in a really bad way, and I couldn't see any other way out of life unless it was the end of life. And this geezer was doing an interview, this Wim Hof geezer, and he sort of said something like, if you feel like you want to kill yourself or you're suicidal, get into an ice bath, because it will sort you out. And I had nothing to lose. I went out, I bought a fridge freezer off of Gumtree. I rung the woman up. I said, excuse me, love. She said, yeah. I said, that fridge freezer you got? She went, yeah. I said, is it big enough to get a body in? She went, what? I said, is it big enough to get a body in? She went, I don't know. I said, all right, I'm coming round your house. So I knocked on this woman's door. She went, you all right, mate? I went, yeah. I said, where's that fridge freezer? She went, it's on the balcony. So I said, all right, come in. She went, are you going to get into it, ain't you? I said, yeah. She went, oh my God, I thought this is a nutter coming around to, you know what I mean? And I opened it on the balcony and I got into it. And she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to get in this fridge freezer every day. So I bought a fridge freezer, right? Went home, corked it all up, filled it up with water. And every morning, I get into a fridge freezer at 10 degrees, right? Which is pretty cold, for 2 minutes. And that resets my brain. What that does is, first thing I do as soon as I wake up, I say to my mate upstairs, thank you for another day. Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much. What am I going to do out of this beautiful day? That's my first thing I say. You could call it a prayer. I just call it connecting with God. Then I'll go and have a really, really nice hot shower, try and wake myself up. And then I come out, I get onto my balcony, start bollock naked, right? And I get into a fridge freezer for 2 minutes at 10 degrees. And sometimes I go down to about 6 degrees if I'm really feeling really, really low. And what that does is it resets me, because at that point, you want to get out and you want life. But what it does is it bangs the chemicals into your brain. It's like, it's a shock therapy for me. It shocks me and resets me, and it gives me endorphins for the rest of the day. It manages my mood. And let me tell you something, there is nothing you can't do in your day-to-day life, right? Nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do after you've just got to have a fucking 10-degree fridge freezer, because bang, you're ready for life, mate. You are so energized. You're ready for life. I haven't had a cold since I've started this. I haven't had nothing. I'm like bulletproof, mate. Nothing can touch me. I'm just smashing it off all over. And my mood is good. I've stopped feeling suicidal. I'm up. We're doing things. I'm managing everybody. I'm on the phone. Mate, I'm all over it. But you can't throw a kid in at 6 degrees. You can't throw a kid into an ice bath at that time. So look, we're all managing ourselves in one way or another, and that's what it's about: managing your mental health, managing your state of mind. Because let me tell you something, it's nobody else's job but yours. It ain't the government's, it ain't your neighbours, it ain't your girlfriends, it ain't the geezer next door. It's your life. Sort it out. Get your own life together. Stop moaning about everybody else. Not you personally, but that's it basically. Get your shit together, everyone.
Awesome. So on that note, I think we'll just close.
Thank you, sir.
And it was a great podcast.
That was a good one. Yeah. In there, you should have a few ADHD nuggets. And the flight's gone.
Yeah, but
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much.